Nissan builds one of the greatest sports cars on the planet and one of the worst transmissions you can put your money on, and they sell them both in the same showroom. Toyota builds nothing nearly that exciting, and it outlives both of them. Today I am telling you exactly why that happens, and which one I would hand my own money over for. This is not the lazy take you have heard before where Toyota is the good guy and Nissan is the villain. Nissan can build greatness, and I respect a lot of their engineering, but the same company that builds a real supercar also builds a gearbox I would not trust across town. Toyota builds the most boring car on the lot, the one nobody photographs, and it is the one still running when everything around it is dead. Two completely different obsessions. Let me show you where they split. Start with the thing that made me a believer. A guy rolled into my shop last winter in a 2015 Nissan Altima. 89,000 miles, came in for a simple oil change. I told him his transmission was on its way out. He laughed at me. 3 weeks later, he called me from the shoulder of the highway. Nissan went all in on a continuously variable transmission years before the rest of the industry was ready. By 2012, that gearbox was in almost everything they sold. The Altima, the Sentra, the Rogue, the Pathfinder, the Versa, the Murano. One design built by a company called Jotco that Nissan basically owns, dropped into millions of cars. And it shuddered, it whined, it overheated. It would slip under hard acceleration and then drop into what we call limp mode, where the car flat refuses to go faster than a crawl. I have had these come in around 80 to 90,000 miles, and the customer is always stunned because the engine runs perfect. The engine is fine, the transmission is cooked. But here is the part that should make you angry. Nissan knew everything and still did nothing. This was not some quiet little problem. The lawsuits stacked up one after another. The biggest one swept in the Rogue, the Pathfinder, and the Infinity version. That is more than 2 million vehicles, and Nissan paid around $277 million to make it go away. They extended warranties. They paid people back for repairs, up to thousands of dollars each, and the complaints just kept piling up, thousands of them, on that one transmission alone. And let me hand you a free tip buried in this because it matters. Nissan told people that fluid was lifetime fluid, never needs changing. That is garbage. That fluid breaks down, it overheats, and that heat is what kills the unit. If you own one of these, drain and refill that fluid every 25,000 miles, not never. I have watched that one habit add years to a transmission everybody had already written off. So why would a company ship something they knew was weak year after year? Because once you understand why, you understand everything about Nissan. Back around the year 2000, Nissan was basically dying, drowning in debt. A man named Carlos Ghosn came in to save it, and he did, but he did it with a chainsaw. They called him Le Cost Killer. He closed factories, cut tens of thousands of jobs, and he tore apart the longtime parts suppliers Nissan had leaned on for decades, moving to whoever would sell the part cheapest. I am not going to pretend that was all wrong. The company was going under, but that became the personality of the place. Cut the cost, hit the number, chase the volume. A few years later, they pushed even harder, chasing more sales all over the world, propping it up here at home with heavy discounts and loans handed to people with shaky credit just to get cars off the lot. Therefore, when you ask why Nissan kept shipping a transmission they knew was fragile, that is your answer. The whole company was wired to hit a number this quarter, not to build a car that still runs in 15 years. And that is exactly where Toyota is the polar opposite. Because Toyota's whole personality traces back to the strangest possible place. It comes from a loom, a machine for weaving cloth. Stay with me, because this explains the boring Camry sitting in your neighbor's driveway. Toyota did not start as a car company. They built automatic looms, and the founder built one that stopped itself the instant a single thread broke, so it could never weave a flawed piece of cloth. That idea, stop everything the moment a defect shows up, never let it move down the line, became the heart of how Toyota builds everything. They are obsessed, almost too much, with never letting a bad part through. And it shows up in choices that drive car people crazy. Toyota was late to turbos. They stuck with old-fashioned automatic transmissions and a torque converter long after everybody else jumped ship. People called them boring, called them behind the times. But a torque converter automatic is something they know inside and out. It has been around forever. They understand exactly how it fails and exactly how to stop it from failing. When Toyota finally did build a twin-turbo V6, they kept it relaxed and tuned it soft, leaving a ton of room to spare. Here is what I actually think. That is the smartest way to build a car in the whole industry, and it is also the least exciting. They do not chase the biggest horsepower number. They chase the car that still fires up on a cold morning at 250,000 miles. That is the Toyota 3.5-liter V6 you find in the Camry, the Highlander, the Sienna. People run those past 300,000 miles and barely lift the hood. I dug into the numbers on which cars actually last, and the Toyota Sequoia is more than 8 times as likely to hit 250,000 miles as a normal car. Now let me be fair to Nissan, because this is where the comments are going to come after me. Nissan can absolutely build something special. The GTR is a real world-class machine. The engine in it is hand-built by a tiny team of master craftsmen, and each one signs the engine they finished. That block will hold over 1,000 horsepower without grenading. That is serious talent. But here is what I actually think, and you can tell me I am dead wrong down in the comments. That performance image is a lot flashier than the cars actually sitting on the lot next to it. The GTR sells in tiny numbers. The Z rides on a platform that is getting old. And while Nissan was selling you the dream of being a performance brand, the cars regular people actually buy got old, thin, and unreliable. And it caught up with them hard. Last year, Nissan lost billions of dollars. They tried to merge with Honda and the whole thing collapsed. They are cutting around 20,000 jobs and closing factories. This is a company in real trouble, selling you a poster of a supercar while the showroom floor quietly rots out from under it. So you might think I am about to tell you every Nissan is junk, but I am not. And this part matters a lot if you are about to spend your own money. Because Nissan's engines, the actual engines, are good. That VQ V6 they put in the Maxima, and the 350Z and the 370Z is tough as nails. I have seen them sail past 200,000 miles on nothing but normal upkeep. The problem was almost never the engine. It was the transmission and the bean counting wrapped around it. And Toyota is not perfect either, so do not flood my inbox. Their newest twin-turbo truck engine had a real failure problem, bad enough they had to recall and replace engines in the Tundra. That is a black eye, no excuses. But look at the difference. With Toyota, that was a mistake they jumped on fast. With Nissan, the transmission was a known weakness they kept selling for years. One is an accident, the other is a philosophy. That difference is the entire reason I trust one and not the other. So, strip it all the way down. Toyota is a manufacturing company that happens to build cars, and it cares about one thing: the car still running long after you stopped caring about it. Nissan, at least the Nissan of the last 15 years, cared about the spec sheet, the 0 to 60 time, the gas mileage sticker, and the sales number this quarter. Those two ways of thinking slammed into each other inside that transmission, and a whole generation of owners got handed the bill. Then there is the Camry. The Camry is the car you forget you even own. That is the highest compliment I can pay a vehicle. If you came here hoping I would say performance is bad and boring is good, that is not it. I love a fast car. But when I am spending my own money on something that has to start every single morning with no drama, I am buying the boring one. Every time. So if you are shopping a used Nissan right now, do not let that transmission ambush you the way it ambushed my guy in the Altima. Earlier I told you this company is in real trouble. It goes so much deeper than it looks. I made a whole video called Nissan is Losing Everything, and nobody is really talking about how bad it has gotten. Go watch that one next, because once you see the full picture, you will look at that badge completely differently. I will see you there.